So 6.1 is solving systems by graphing. So the first thing you need to know is what a system is, so that you know what it is you're solving. So when we talk about a system of linear equations, okay, rarely do I say that whole phrase. I usually just say system. Okay, but when I talk about a system, I'm talking about a system of linear equations, okay? What that is just two or more linear equations. What is a linear equation? Do you know? What do you see in that? A straight line, right? Okay, so linear equations are equations that give you a straight line. So we are taking, instead of just saying graph this line, you're going to graph two lines. And what you're going to see is where they meet up. Where do they intersect with each other? That point where they intersect is your solution. It's your answer. So when I ask you for a solution to the system of linear equations, I'm asking you for where do they meet. Okay, so when we talk about a solution, that's where your lines intersect. Or where they meet is another way you could say it, okay? So I'm just going to show you a picture of what that looks like. You don't need to take notes on this part. I just want you to see it. And then we will go from there.
How's your day?
Great. How's yours? All right, so here it is. These two equations, okay, that would be a system, two equations. The solution to that system is the point 2, 1. So wherever those two lines meet, right, red meets blue, it makes a purple dot. That is your solution. That's your answer. So when you give me an answer on these, it's a point. It's an x value and a y value, okay? Here's what we're going to do. Example number 1. It'll say, what is the solution to the system? And then they will give you two equations. And I'm going to color code, so if you're a color coder, you're welcome to color code right along with me. I'll try to pick colors that you likely have in your repertoire. So one of your equations, we will do y equals x plus 2. Okay, the other equation, green or red?
Red.
The other equation will do y equals 3x minus 2. So you have two equations. You're going to graph them so that you can figure out what your solution is. So this whole section, 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3, everything is solving systems of equations. Today we're doing it by graphing. The next time we're doing it by substituting, and the last time we're doing it by eliminating. So all three are doing the same thing. All three, you're coming up with an x value and a y value that is your answer. Okay, so if you have that graph paper, get that out so that we can do some graphing on it. Oh. All right, so let's start with the blue line. If I want to graph this line, what form is that in? Slope intercept, right? That's in slope intercept form. So what do you plot first, the slope or the intercept? The intercept. And it is a x or a y intercept? It's a y intercept, okay? So we're going to plot this, which is our y intercept first, okay? Where do I move for that to?
Up to.
You're going to go up to. So we're going to put a point right here, okay? Then you plot your slope from that. What is the slope of that blue line?
The x.
What's in front of that
The in
x?
front of the x is the hand side.
essentially there's a 1 there, right? So even though the 1 isn't there, it's 1. That means my slope, let me just do this. My slope for this line is 1. My y-intercept for that line is 2. So with a slope of 1, I start at my 2, I start at my y-intercept, and I plot that slope of 1, which means I move where?
You move from the
Up, how many?
Up 1 over 2.
Over 1, right? Because the number 1 is like 1 over 1, okay? So you're going to go up 1 over 1 and plot a point. If you need to keep going just to make a nice straight line, keep going. Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Okay, so you get all these points, and then you take your straight edge. If you don't have a straight edge right now, you may grow, actually no, don't go grab one. Just use the edge of a piece of paper, or
I don't have.
do you have your student ID handy? Use that. Okay, here's the deal, you guys. 2 things. Number 1, you absolutely must graph every single one of these on graph paper. You cannot solve these without graph paper. It won't work, okay? So that's number 1, you must do it on graph paper. Number 2, you must be precise. Don't just freehand a line and think that you're gonna find an answer that way, because if you don't draw a straight line through your points, you're gonna end up in the wrong spot, okay? So you have to be really precise, yes. Yes. I know, rock. No. Okay, here it is, second line. Now we have this line. What is your slope of that line?
-2.
The slope,
3x.
just 3, right? Okay, hey, your slope is 3. What's your y-intercept? -2. Okay, so we know we have a slope of 3 and a y-intercept of -2. Which of those do I plot first?
The B.
The B, the -2. So you're gonna go down 2 and put a point in,
So now you
okay?
go
And now what was your slope?
3
3, where do I move?
to the
Up 3, 1, 2, 3 up over
-2.
1, okay? Now here's the deal. If I were you, I would not stop with my slope right there. I would do it again, because ultimately what we're looking for is intersection. Where do my 2 lines meet? So if I go to that point that I just finished at, and I go up 3 over 1 again, look where I land. On the line, which means my answer is that point. So we're gonna draw the line in. Okay, but our solution is this. What point is that? That is 2, 4, right? 2 to the right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 up. So that is the point 2, 4, and that is your answer. So you're just graphing 2 lines, seeing where they meet, and naming the point that they meet at. Yes.
So for rise over run, so we go, since we're going from the left to the right, we go.
Rise first, right? Up or down first, and then over.
So
Well, over.
1, 2, 3.
So like we started right here. So rise over run would be 3 up, 1 over. And I get that point. 3 up, 1, 2, 3, 1 over. I get that point.
Okay.
Okay? So it's your slope here is 3 over 1. Okay? All right, another one. Get a new graph. You don't want to do it on the same graph.
Wait, can you scroll up again?
Okay, here's your 2 equations. Our blue line is going to be y equals 2x plus 4. Our red line is y equals x plus 2. Okay, and if you want to, maybe this is helpful to write what your m is and what your b is for each line, just so when you plot it, it's quick and easy. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do right now. What's my m? What's my b? So what's m for the blue line?
2.
2. That's your slope. Okay, so if you want to write it as 2 over 1 to help you remember to move over 1, go for it. What's your b?
4.
4. Okay, red line. What's your m?
1.
The m is 1, right? If there's no number there, it's a 1. Okay, So your m is 1 over 1 if you want to write it that way, or you can just write it as 1. And then b is what?
2.
2. Okay, so start with the blue line. You're going to plot your b first. So where do I move for that 4?
Up 4.
Up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and now your slope is 2. So you're going to go up 2 over 1. Okay, I'm not going to leave those there because I don't want the mess of it. Now here's the deal. If I keep going up 2 over 1, I'm off the graph. But I can move that same amount back in the left side of it. So you can think of it like this. We went down 2 over 1, so go down 2 over 1 again. Down 2 over 1 again, down 2 over 1 again. I would give a decent amount of points here, okay? Just keep your points going so that you have the best line possible. So if I draw that in, okay, that's my blue line. My red line, with a y-intercept of 2, we're going to go up 2 and plot that point. And then a slope of 1 is up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Notice we're not going to meet over here. So I would keep my points going back the other way. Go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, and look what happens. We have an answer.
Whoa.
Wait, whoa.
Now you gotta,
What? How did you do that?
now you gotta put the
Whoa,
lines.
what's going on?
Did I just do something
She
funny?
did it like magic.
And you put it right there.
Okay, look. Watch my black dots right now, okay? This is where we started, with a black dot here, and my slope was up 1 over 1. So I got that black dot, right? Up 1 over 1 got me that black dot. But if you keep going with that line, it's never going to hit the blue line. It's going to hit the blue line behind it. So you just do that same slope in reverse, right? So if I was going up 1 over 1 from this black dot, I'm going to go down 1 over 1 instead. Down 1 over 1. And that
Got it.
is where my 2 lines met.
So you start where it.
You start at your y-intercept and you do your slope, right? But once you draw that line in, it's going to meet with your other line somewhere. So if you can count the slope to see where they meet, that's the easiest way to make sure you're in the right spot.
Okay.
We'll do plenty more, I promise. What's my answer?
Negative.
Negative
Right.
2 is equal to 0.
No, just
What?
the point, negative 2, 0. Not equal to.
Negative 2 equals negative 2.
Negative 2, 0 is your answer. It is a point. Okay? Okay.
How many problems do we have?
I don't remember. Okay, here's the last concept, and then we're gonna do
Wait.
a couple more graphs with
I
it.
have a question. So
Huh.
you know how they meet right there. So where do you start from the rise over run? Like
So I started with this black point, that's where I was, right? So my slope was 1 over 1. So I went up 1 over 1, and I got that second black dot. Let's change colors again so they stand out. So at the yellow here is where I started. Up 1 over 1 puts me here. Up 1 over 1 puts me there. Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. You can just draw that line in and you'll be done. I just think it's easy if you keep that slope going. So let's say I'm starting here now. Go down, over, down, over, down, over, down, over, down, over. That means my next one is down, over, which is right here, and that's where there was a point already from my red line or my blue line.
oh.
So then I know my red and my blue meet at that point. You don't always have to find the point that way. I mean, you can draw the line in and that will find the point for you. I just think it's easier to do it like this so that you know you have the right point. Because if your line isn't perfectly straight, you might be in the wrong point.
I get it.
Okay? Okay. Here's the last idea for these. What do you suppose is the situation if I end up with lines that are parallel?
They're the same.
They're
What's,
straight
what is your answer?
No. It's
0.
There is no
Parallel,
answer,
parallel.
right?
Predicted or whatever.
what's the word?
No solution. Yes. Okay, so here's the deal. If your lines are parallel, your answer
The same.
is no solution, right? Because our solutions are wherever the lines meet, and parallel lines never meet, so there is no solution, okay? What if I have two lines
And they meet.
and they look like this? My red line, are you watching?
Yes.
Here's my red line. Here's my blue line. What is your solution?
No solution.
All of them, right? Every point is the same because it's the same line. So if they are the same line, nope, if they're the same line, like this red and blue is, you're gonna say there are infinitely many solutions. There's nothing that's not a solution. Okay, so you will either have infinitely many or no solution in those two scenarios. Okay?
Yes.
So we're gonna graph a couple of those and go from there. Sorry, were you still going on that?
Is that the end of the lesson?
I mean, we're gonna graph with them now, but that's the idea. All right,
I don't understand this lesson.
I understand it pretty well.
well, stick with me.
Stick with her.
Okay, let's say we have 2y minus x equals 2. And we have y equals 1/2 x plus 1. Okay, so those are our two equations, and we're going to graph them to see what our solution is. Okay? Here's the deal. What form is the red equation in?
SI.
Not slope-intercept. No, this one's standard, right? When x and y are together on one side, that's standard form. You guys know how to graph standard form.
Yep.
Although some of you didn't solve for standard form on the test, I found. Cover-up method, right? So my two equations that I could write right now are what?
2, 3.
If I cover up the x, my equation is 2y equals 2. If I cover up the y, my equation is negative x equals 2. Okay? So when I solve those, divide by 2, divide by 2, my y-intercept
Equal to 1.
is 1. Divide by negative 1, my x-intercept
Equals.
is negative 2. Okay? So sometimes you're going to graph it from standard form, but you know how to do that.
Okay.
Do it. Okay? Cover up method. So if x is negative 2, my red line is going to have a point at negative 2. If y is 1, my red line is going to have a point on my y-axis as 1. Okay? If you want more points than just the 2 points you start with, figure out what your slope is. I go from here, up 1 over 2. So do it again. Up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. Or go back this way. Down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. So you have all these points that are on your red line. That red line was not my best, but it'll work out. Okay?
Same with
The other equation, y equals 1/2 x plus 1, that's in slope-intercept. So my my slope is 1/2. My y-intercept is 1. So let's plot it. With a y-intercept of 1, that's here. With a slope of 1/2, girls, you are going to want to get this. With a slope of 1/2, you're going up 1 over 2, which puts me right there. Up 1 over 2 puts me right there. What do you notice?
Oh.
It's the exact same line, okay? So when the lines are the same, what's your answer? Infinitely many. Okay, so your answer here, instead of naming a point, you're going to say there are infinitely many solutions. Questions on that?
That makes so much sense.
Good. Okay, we're going to do one more, and then we're done.
It's gonna blow up in your face.
I think
Really?
Okay, here's your two lines. y equals 2x plus 1. and y equals 2x minus 1. Want to know a trick?
Yes.
You should know your answer right now. Same slope. What has the same slope?
2.
Parallel lines. They have different y-intercepts,
But they have the same.
but they have the same slope. So those are parallel lines. Okay, so that means when we graph this, my slope is 2, my y-intercept is 1. My slope here is 2, my y-intercept is -1. Okay, so let's do our red. Up 1 for my y-intercept with a slope of 2. Up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. Okay? So this is my first line. Okay? Make sure you use a straight edge. My blue line, a slope of, or a y-intercept of -1. And then I'm going up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. And when I graph that, I get this.
So that is interesting. How do you do it so straight?
I have a ruler. You just can't see it.
Oh,
It's built into the app.
that is nice.
It's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this, because they are parallel,
No solution.
you would say no solution.
How is that no solution?
Because they're never going to meet,
It goes like that.
right? Our solutions are where they meet, and they never meet. Okay.
What?